All right, guy like this, we know Alexander. Good evening and Happy New Year from College Park. As the calendar turns into 2026, so does Maryland's remaining schedule. From here on out, the Terps will play exclusively Big Ten opponents, starting tonight with the Oregon Ducks. For WMUC Sports, I'm Andrew Breza, joined by James Consoli. James, it's been a bit of a rocky start for both these teams, both sitting just above 500 at 7-6, with a number of both teams' losses coming from that Players Era Festival in Las Vegas back in November. In your opinion, what do you think these two sides have to do to come out with a W tonight?
Yeah, to come out with a W tonight, it's really just, very two similar teams. If you look at these two squads on paper, you'd probably get the names mixed up because Oregon and Maryland are pretty much identical so far. 7-6 overall, 0-2 in Big Ten play, and they're banged up with injuries across the board. Maryland, Pharrell Payne, and before tonight, we didn't know if KJ Evans, a superstar for the Oregon Ducks, was going to play tonight. Looks like he will be active, but for these both squads, it's going to be a battle of the glass. They both shoot very similarly for the field, so it's really going to come down to those nitty-gritty details, rebounds on the glass, and field goal percentage, taking wise shots and hitting those.
A homecoming tonight for KJ Evans, the Baltimore native. Like you said, we were not sure if he was going to play, but he is back from injury. He's a player to watch. Another player to watch, number 32, Nate Biddle, coming off a game where the Oregon was able to get a win before 2025 closed against Omaha. He scored a game-high 26 points. He also scored 28 points against then number 7 Gonzaga. He, according to Oregon, is one of just two players joining Michigan's Yaxel Landenborg, one of the best players in the country, to record 28 points, 9 rebounds, 5 assists, and 4 blocks in the last 2 seasons. And those two are only 4 players to hit that in the past 5 marks. And he is also the first Power 4 conference player to hit that since Ethan Happ of Wisconsin in 2017. Wisconsin is back to healthy. Maryland's still dealing with injuries, Pharrell Payne, and absence that will definitely be big. It's going to be a very interesting game tonight. But before the game, you were mentioning that both sides are really going to have to crash the boards. What more do you think Maryland can do in terms of trying to get those rebounds?
Yeah, it's shutting down Nate Biddle. So they are a very strong offensive rebound team, Oregon is. But on the defensive glass, they're actually struggling. They're over 100th ranked nationally. But in that offensive glass, this is a squad that ranks very high. And also defensively as well in terms of blocks, Nate Biddle is up there. But offensive rebounds are going to be a big factor tonight. Second chance points for both squads, and Maryland boxing out, and they've been able to do that as they out-rebounded Virginia just 2 games ago. So it's not impossible for the Terps, and I'm looking big at Sullivan, Washington, number 9 in that white uniform as Oregon comes out in black tonight.
Oregon and Maryland in their flashy uniforms as ever, the two alums of these two programs, founding 2 of the biggest sports apparel companies in the world, Under Armour and Nike, squaring off again. Just the second time that these two basketball teams have squared off. Last year, Oregon coming out on top. Now it's a fresh slate with a brand new team for Maryland. Along with us tonight, we'll also have Peter Kelly down the sidelines, who will be giving us a couple of notes here and there. The other day, on Sunday, Peter and I called the game together, and we thought the same thing. These teams are going to have to crash the boards. Different game for Maryland. They leaned a little bit more on their three-point shooting, something we're going to have to watch out for again tonight.
Absolutely, Andrew. And let's just talk about some of these starting lineups for tonight. Taking over for the Ducks, we'll have Takai Simpkins and Wei Lin in the backcourt. And in the forwards, we'll see Des Lindsay, KJ Evans back again, and Nate Biddle at the center position. For the Terps, Darius Adams, Andre Mills, Isaiah Watts, Solomon Washington, and Elijah Saunders.
Tip-off goes in Maryland's favor, and it's Andre Mills starting with the ball, taking it up the court. Passes it quickly to Solomon Washington, now back to Mills. Now he gets it off for Isaiah Watts on the left side. Watts driving it into the center. Now back to Mills. Mills trying to drive it in, goes up and misses a tough bucket. Oregon gets the rebound, now bringing it down the court. Takai Simpkins with the ball on the left side. Back up to the top of the key. Wei Lin now back to Simpkins. Back to Lin. Lin with a three-point attempt, and it falls. And in addition to the tough basket, he was fouled by Isaiah Watts. So he will head to the line for a free throw opportunity.
Andrew, interestingly enough, I didn't think Wei Lin would be a starter this game, right? There's a couple guys that have started the last few games for this squad, but Wei Lin started this season with less minutes. He's progressed. He's averaging 19 minutes in the last 4 games.
For the Terps, not the ideal start you would want if you're Buzz Williams. A 4-point play puts Oregon up 4-0, less than a minute into the game. The Terps will try and respond now. Darius Adams driving along the right side. He takes it in, kicks it back out to Solomon Washington. Washington, a three-pointer attempt, misses once again. And the rebound attempt, a foul is called there on Elijah Saunders. Oregon will get the ball right back.
Andrew, just looked like a little shove in the back. Nothing too crazy there. Saunders obviously got out-rebounded there from the lower Nate Biddle, and so a little friendly fire there.
Lin takes it up for the Ducks, passes it off to Simpkins once more. Now inside, trying to go up is KJ Evans, and he converts.
And KJ Evans just going to be working that block all tonight. Just look out for him if you're in a Maryland attacker as well.
Now the Terps on the other side. Isaiah Watts from just inside the three-point line, and he converts to get the Terps on the board. Watts, a guy who in Sunday's game against Old Dominion was big in the first half, converting multiple times from beyond the arc. As the Ducks go back on offense, and some strong defense from Watts forces the ball out, and it will be the Terps' ball.
Watts is a guy underappreciated, plays both sides of the ball well, and like you mentioned, Andrew, 17 points in that first half versus Old Dominion. So this Maryland squad likes what they see.
Now it'll be Mills once again bringing it up for the Terps. Mills trying to drive it along the left side. He kicks it out to Darius Adams. Adams fakes a shot, now drives in, and he goes up, and it's a miss. Some contention under the basket, gets the ball in Oregon's hands, now driving it up the court. Another tough attempt that misses. Another scrum for it. Maryland ends up with it. Driving it down, now it's Solomon Washington. He kicks it out for Elijah Saunders. Back to the other side for Andre Mills. Mills to Darius Adams at the top of the key. Mills now slows Maryland down. Darius Adams with the ball on the left side, trying to get a screen from Elijah Saunders. Now kicks it down to Saunders in the paint. Saunders 2-on-1. Goes up with it, and it is blocked out of bounds by Oregon. Maryland will retain possession in their offensive end, but with not a lot of time on the clock. Just 7 seconds left on the shot clock.
Andrew, and that's what we talk about too. Nate Biddle, 2.4 blocks per game. He's third in the Big Ten. He went upstairs, no problem there.
Now a quick shot attempt there from Darius Adams that does not fall. Oregon quickly gets the rebound. Lin with the ball, taking it back up for the Ducks. Still up 4, 6-2. Just over 2 minutes and 20 seconds played here in this first half. Now it's Des Lindsay back to Lin at the top of the key. Lin trying to make something happen. Putting the moves on. Now back to Lindsay on the perimeter. Lindsay trying to get it to Lin. Lin driving inside, kicks it out for KJ Evans. Evans, a three-point attempt, falls short, but he's able to get his own rebound. And Evans traveled underneath the basket. Maryland will get the ball back after some pretty sloppy rebounding attempts there on that possession, James.
Yeah, Maryland got away with that one. I'm looking at Darius Adams in that white uniform for the Terps, and you got to box out the shooter, especially a guy like KJ Evans. He could get his own rebound and put back dunk with it. So he's really versatile, and if they want to win this game, it's those little things like boxing out shooters.
The Terps trying to get back even with the Ducks. Solomon Washington off for Darius Adams. Adams moving it back. Now off for Washington. Back to Adams. Adams with a three-point attempt. No good once again. Ducks collect the rebound. Adams nearly tied his career high against Old Dominion on Sunday, some of which came from some successful three-point attempts. Oregon now on the other side. Ball gets to Kai Simpkins. Simpkins driving it inside, and it falls. Now the refs are trying to take a second look, as it might have been goaltending.
And so it could have been either that goaltending or sometimes it's basket interference. When that ball's still sitting over top of the hoop, yeah, that's what it looks like they're going to call here. That looks like that'll be a basket interference. See if that ball is sitting at the top of the hoop already. Can't really tip it in there or mess with it. So
still no official confirmation on if that was a successful conversion for Oregon. It looked like it was called basket interference, but it is still 6-2 here on the scoreboard. Either way, the Terps back in possession. Solomon Washington with the top of the key, and he converts.
Yeah, so it looks like they didn't give that last bucket to Oregon with Nate Biddle, their big center, on the basket interference.
So now 6-4 with Lynn driving back inside for the Ducks, and he misses. Rebound collected by Andre Mills. Mills now driving it down with some tempo. Out to Isaiah Watts for a three-point attempt, and it is good. Flashes back to Sunday, where Watts had a lot of success from beyond the arc at the end of that first half, and Maryland has their first lead of the game, now leading 7-6.
Watts only a 31% three-point shooter, but really has been able to succeed in the last couple, shooting 50% last game.
Ducks back with the ball in their offensive zone. Biddle. Oregon driving, another shot attempt that misses, and Mills collects the rebound. That was Des Lindsay. Now Darius Adams bringing it down with tempo for the Terps, and he is fouled going up. Shot does not fall. He will head to the line for two, but not before we hit our first media timeout of the first half. A seesaw battle so far that's seen some paint action, some shots beyond the arc fall and miss for both sides. James, like you said, heading into it, it has been so far a little bit of a battle along the boards for these two teams.
A lot of back and forth, Andrew, but what I like so far is the amount of shots that Maryland has taken. Sure, they're only 33%, but so is Oregon. Maryland has 3 for 9 in terms of field goals, and Oregon's only 2 for 6. So Maryland's actually been able to dominate the offensive glass. In transition, too, they bring the tone, they set the pace, and Isaiah Watts has been strong for them so far as well. He's already got 5 points. He's the Terps' leading scorer, and that's going to be big, as some of those miscellaneous scores we don't always see from Maryland, they're going to have to play a big picture tonight.
Absolutely. We will take a quick break here on WMUC Sports. We'll be back in just a few minutes. Back here in College Park, we're at the first media timeout. The Terps lead the Ducks 7-6. We mentioned Farrell Payne's injury. The Terps have had to deal with that quite a bit this season, now in their 4th game, their 3rd consecutive, without their best player, their big man. Peter Kelly is our sideline reporter. He's got more on Payne's injury in the small ball lineup that Maryland has had to deploy in these past 2 games. Peter, sending it to you.
Thanks, Andrew. On Monday versus Old Dominion, the Terps used their 7th different starting lineup combination this season. Darius Adams, Andre Mills, Isaiah Watts, Solomon Washington, and Elijah Saunders. While the group didn't have a true point guard with both Miles Rice and Diggy Coit on the bench and a true center in Pharrell Payne's absence, they're very athletic, they can pressure the rim consistently, and they play physically on defense. That starting five was responsible for Maryland's best run of the season. They started the game on a 17-0 advantage over the Monarchs. Buzz needed more production offensively from Isaiah Watts, and he got it, with Watts chalking up 17 first-half points. Buzz needed someone to crash the paint hard in Payne's absence, and Washington stepped up. We're optimistic about this lineup as they get a chance to develop here tonight in Big Ten play. Back to you, Andrew.
Thank you, Peter. Coming out of break, Darius Adams converted one of his 2 free throws. The Terps now leading 8-6 as the Ducks are back on offense, with the Terps swarming towards at center court, the Big M. Ducks now trying to put something together with 10 on the shot clock. Simpkins on the left side trying to pass it inside. He gets it to KJ Evans, who goes in for the slam. Impressive ball movement there from the Ducks to tie this game up at 8 apiece.
Yeah, it looked like ducks in a pond at first there, Andrew, all stacking on that right side of the court. But once they spread out and get comfortable, they find KJ Evans on a backdoor cut.
The Terps now back on offense. Isaiah Watts at the top of the key trying to find something. He passed it off to the side, and a missed three-point attempt there from George Turkson Jr., who has subbed in for the Terps. Ducks now moving quickly. They get it quickly inside to Biddle, but he fumbles with the ball, and it was last touched by him. An impressive defensive effort there from Solomon Washington, as the Terps will get the ball back.
And so to start off so far, this is not really what we see. It's pretty atypical. You see 4 turnovers from Oregon and 0 for the Terps so far, starting out just over 5 minutes into this one.
It has been a very clean start for the Terps, something that they have not done very often so far this season. Terps now back with the ball in their offensive end. Darius Adams with a driving underneath the basket layup that does not fall. Oregon collects the rebound, now trying to move with a little bit of tempo. Adams able to get back up and gets back on Lynn. Lynn trying to set something up. Driving inside, and it is off the foot there of George Turkson Jr.
Maryland foul on George Turkson Jr. His first personal, 3rd team foul.
For the Ducks, guard Drew Carter from Portland, Oregon has subbed in. Meanwhile, for the Terps, as we mentioned, George Turkson Jr. is now in, along with Diggy Coit. The Ducks with a 3-point attempt that bounces off, collected there by Solomon Washington. Washington off for Coit. Coit bringing it up, back to Washington, now back to Coit. Coit with a long 3-point attempt off the front of the rim, and the Ducks collect. Ducks now trying to take it slow. Simpkins bringing it up. Now off for Lindsey. Lindsey to Carter. Back to Lindsey. Now off for Biddle, a 3-point attempt at the top of the key. That falls. An impressive shot there from the big man. He was open, faced a little bit of contention there at the end, but was able to make it fall, and that's what makes him so dangerous, James.
He spreads the floor so well, and he shoots 50% from beyond the arc in the last 3 games. He's been balling from outside.
The Terps trying to answer. Turkson fighting for it under the basket, but it's collected by Oregon after another missed shot. As the Terps get back on defense, Drew Carter for the Ducks. Has it at the M. Carter trying to move to the left, guarded by Isaiah Watts. Carter off for Lindsey, now back to the top of the key for Simpkins. Simpkins fakes a shot, now driving inside. Conversion is no good, but he is fouled in the process.
Yeah, it looks like they got Watts on that foul. And for Maryland now, they have 4 team fouls on the night. And as for Oregon, only 1. So the foul disparity we're seeing already, and Oregon's still up in this one.
Simpkins at the line. His first attempt falls. Oregon goes up 12-8. But looking at some of these shooting numbers, you'd think it would be a whole lot more. Oregon shooting 44% from the floor so far, 4 of 9 in total, but the Terps just 3 of 13, 23% overall, and 17% from beyond the arc, 1 for 6. As we mentioned, without Pharrell Payne, they're going to try and take some more outside shots, but those are not falling so far as Simpkins' second attempt falls. Oregon now up 5. Miles Rice, the Indiana transfer, has subbed in for the Terps as he leads the ball up the court. Off for Diggy Coit in the offensive end. Coit takes a step back three. Once again, no good from beyond the arc. A scrum underneath the basket. Two sides fighting over it. Oregon looked like they had it for a second, but Washington and Saunders able to make it a jump ball, but Oregon with possession.
And Andrew Coit's an interesting guy, right? First in points all around for this Maryland team, but last game 0 points, and he had 2 shots versus Old Dominion. If Maryland wants to win with the absence of Pharrell Payne, Coit has to just be more consistent or not be afraid to shoot the ball as much.
Oregon back on offense. Drew Carter with the ball on the right side. Sends it off for another shot attempt by Biddle that falls. Like you said just a second ago, James, he is excellent at spacing the floor. Key and point on the last few offensive possessions. Terps trying to respond. Andre Mills with the ball at the top of the key. Passes it off for Miles Rice. Rice is scanning, trying to set something up. Saunders coming in for a pick. Rice trying to work off it. Passes it back to Saunders, who takes a three-point attempt. Once again, no good. The Terps just can't seem to get anything to fall from long range as the Ducks collect and once again move with some tempo.
Yeah, Maryland now 1 for 8 from beyond the arc, and sometimes you just got to realize, hey, maybe that's not our game. We started off leading this game. Maybe we should go back to that.
Like you said, James, trying to cut your losses a little bit. The same three-point shooting not on display as in the Old Dominion game on Sunday. Biddle with the ball in the middle, but he loses possession, and Maryland will regain possession.
That's the thing, too. Play the hands of Biddle. A guy like Metcalf or a guy like Alston that come in, you guard the big man, you're going to have to establish dominance tonight. This is the best game to do that, opening up conference play here in College Park, other than Michigan that just happened a couple weeks ago. But for the new year, going to have to give the big man a fight worth fighting for. So,
like you just said a second ago, too, Diggy Coit, obviously this team is comprised, it's a bit of a motley crew, assembled very at the end of the transfer portal window back in the spring, just within 2 weeks of Buzz being hired on April 1st. He's one of those veteran leaders. We're going to have to see more coming out of him. As the two teams head to their huddles, we will take a quick break. For WMEC Sports, I'm Andrew Breza, joined by James Consoli. We'll be back in a couple minutes. Back here in College Park, Andrew Breza joined by James Consoli for WMEC Sports. James, at the beginning of the game, we talked a lot about how these two teams are very similar, including in their results at the Players Era Festival in Las Vegas, where Oregon went 0-3, Maryland went 1-2, but some of those losses both coming to ranked opponents.
Yeah, and also on top of that, Andrew, Oregon was a squad that basically won the Players Era Festival last year. They pretty much beat number 9 Alabama, Texas A&M. They had no problem, but this year just couldn't seem to get it going.
Game back with Maryland in possession. Diggy Coy trying to make something happen as the shot clock winds down. Another tough shot that does not fall for the Terps as Oregon once again collects. The Ducks so far dominating the rebound battle, leading the Terps 13-5. Just 9 minutes into this first half. Ducks now trying to set something up. Sean Stewart with the ball for the Ducks. Passes it off for Carter. Carter inside for Stewart. Stewart going up. Tough basket that does not fall, but he gets his own rebound. Going back up. That time blocked by Solomon Washington. The Terps get the ball. Mills up for Rice. Now to Saunders at the top of the key. Back to Rice now for Mills on the right side. Going down for Solomon Washington down low. Trying to back up. Spinning. Going back up. And he is fouled. Going up for a bucket.
Top of that, too, Solomon Washington, we've just seen him progress, right? Didn't see him for the first couple games in the Maryland Red, but in the last few, started to get more minutes coming off that injury. Had his best game in their last outing, 13 points, 13 rebounds, big double-double that the Terps needed to propel their success.
For a lot of this season, the Terps have relied on getting it inside for free throws. On Sunday was a little bit different. They didn't have a whole lot of free throw attempts, relied a little bit more on their outside shooting. Took, I believe it was their third fewest free throw attempts in a game so far this season. Now with Washington at the line, he sinks the first one. Just the third attempt so far in this game with the fourth upcoming. Washington's second attempt falls as he converts both, as Maryland is now 3 for 4 from the charity stripe so far today. Oregon leading 15-10, approaching the midway point in this first half. Oregon back with the ball. Jamari Phillips for the Ducks with the ball on the left side of the court. Back for Sean Stewart. Ducks trying to set something up. Pass to Stewart inside, and he slams it through. Andre Mills trying to get a late block in there at the last second. But Stewart uses his side to get inside position for an impressive play underneath the basket.
Stewart incredibly efficient as well. Second in field goal percentage for this squad, over 50. So when he gets minutes, he knows how to convert on the offensive board.
Now for the Terps, another attempt by Solomon Washington driving inside, and he is blocked in a big manner by Oregon inside. Gets swatted onto the Oregon bench.
Not only that, too, Andrew, Devin Pryor back in. When we talked to head coach Dana Altman in a report, 247 Sports, he said he wasn't sure if Pryor or KJ Evans would be back. Both are healthy tonight. We obviously saw Pryor as healthy and very capable.
Mills, a long shot from three that once again does not fall. But Maryland gets their own offensive rebound. Darius Adams with the ball at the top trying to set something up. Solomon Washington coming in for a screen. Adams moving to his right side. Tried to get it outside to Elijah Saunders, who did convert the three, but Adams was fouled before Saunders could get the shot attempt off.
And I bet the Terps wish that foul wasn't called. Obviously, Darius Adams loves driving to his right side, going downhill to the hoop, but Elijah Saunders, something that we don't expect often. This is a guy who's second in three-point percentage on this squad for players with more than 20 attempts this season, so he can string the rock from outside.
And ironically, the Terps' first made attempt from three since the very few early minutes of this game, but it does not count. Oregon quickly steals the ball back on the inbound attempt. The Ducks now back in their offensive zone. KJ Evans with the ball at the top of the key. Moving it along for Drew Carter. Carter back to Evans. Now off for Pryor. Pryor now moving to his left and driving inside. Stonewalled there by Washington. Now back off for Phillips. Now off to the side for Carter. A three-point attempt. No good. And a scrum underneath the basket. It was last touched by Isaiah Watts. So Oregon will keep possession, but just 1.2 seconds remaining on the shot clock. We're going to have to try and get it in quickly here for a shot attempt. Otherwise, Maryland will get the ball back. Oregon lining up. 2 men underneath the basket, 2 at the stripe. Carter getting it in quickly for a quick shot attempt. They get it off. but it is no good. Solomon Washington with the rebound, quickly off for Darius Adams. Adams now to Miles Rice. Rice goes back to Adams. Adams driving to his left side, tries to get a contested shot up. No foul called, and it misses, but an offensive rebound by Washington. Now Rice driving it in with a floater attempt, and he converts. We talked pregame about how Solomon Washington was going to have to come up big against Old Dominion on Sunday. He had a double-double, just over 10 points and 10 rebounds exactly, and he's coming up big in Farrell Payne's absence.
Also a big leader for this squad in offensive rebounds. He knows how to get it down on the glass.
The Ducks with another attempt. Stewart once again going up. His first attempt misses. His second attempt falls. And Stewart now writhing in pain underneath the basket. Or excuse me, sorry, that's KJ Evans.
Not a good sight for a guy in Evans who just came off an ankle injury. Don't want to see a lower body injury, especially for this Oregon team who has been beat up all season. These guys in Devin Pryor and KJ Evans are season changers. This is the difference between going out in the first round in the NCAA tournament and making it to that Final Four spot, which Oregon is surely capable of.
Evans capable to get up and walk off on his own power, but with a limp, as he will be taken out of the game, as the fans thought a travel should have been called on that last converted attempt, but nothing called. Oregon maintaining a 7-point lead, 19-12, with just over 8 minutes to play. Maryland back on offense. Miles Rice now to Solomon Washington. Washington trying to back down Biddle. Going up for an attempt, another floater attempt that does not fall. Biddle with the rebound. Oregon trying to move it up quickly. That one swatted out of bounds by Miles Rice. And another stoppage of play as we head under the 8-minute mark. Buzz Williams still trying to find a tempo and a rhythm that the Terps can utilize to their advantage, as on the offensive side, nothing is really working so far in this game.
No, and I think that's the absence of a guy like Farrell Payne, who's just so efficient down low on the block. Before his injury, 9th in the Big Ten in points, 9th in rebounds per game, 3rd in field goal percentage. He knew how to get to the free throw line. He got 3rd in free throws made for this Maryland squad. So that sort of offense generated, if it's just void, you need to find somebody new to be a spark for your team, Andrew. And right now, Maryland, I think, is searching for that. You know, you got a ton of different guys. Watts started off fiery red hot with 5 points, and they really stopped going to him. He's 2 for 2 to start. He's still 100% from the field. Maybe he's the kind of guy you want to go to, but for the Terps and for Buzz Williams, who's been able to figure out at numerous programs, he's got a big task ahead of him in this premier Big Ten matchup with probably the most even team you're going to face in the conference.
And as Peter said earlier, Maryland deploying that small ball lineup today. They did the same thing on Sunday against Old Dominion. We thought it was going to be a bit of a challenge, as the former Terp for the Monarchs, Kylam Swanton-Roger, much bigger than any guy that Maryland had playing. Swanton-Roger got into foul trouble early, though, with 3 fouls in the first half. Did not get a lot of playing time in the second, as he got a 4th foul pretty early on. But a guy like Nate Biddle, not in any sort of foul trouble so far. Maryland's going to have to find an answer. They were able to find it in 3-point shooting on Sunday, but that hasn't been the story for them so far. 1 for 9 so far within this game.
And Andrew, on top of that too, it's pretty typical what we see in terms of both these squad shooting percentages for the game. Oregon at 41.2, they're averaging 43.6 coming into this game. That's 3rd worst in the Big Ten. And Maryland just behind them with 41.3% field goal on the season, though. Tonight, the Terps are shooting 19%. That's less than half of their season average. That's a big reason as to why they are in a very tough spot, struggling in this one so far. So,
you said it, James, but honestly, if you look at the score versus the shooting numbers, if you separate the two, you would think Oregon was winning this game like 30-8. 41% versus 19% from the field, 40% versus 11% from beyond the arc, 100% for 75% from the charity stripe. The Terps are staying in it regardless, just only down by 7.
And I think what part of that is, too, is the fact that Oregon has 5 turnovers, so they're just not really handling the rock well. They have a lot of guys going in. We've seen at least 8 players play tonight so far in the first 10 minutes of this game. And for Maryland, it's only 1 turnover. Terps are taking really good care of the rock on offense, but in terms of offensive rebounds, only with 4. Same as Oregon, but Oregon been able to out-rebound them on the defensive glass, 13-6. So Maryland really just needs to attack on opportunities, which they've had more shots than Oregon so far this game.
Game back in session. Oregon with a lot of size on the floor, not just in Biddle, but also Ege Demir, who came close to a double-double in their last outing against Omaha. The Ducks with the ball on the offensive zone. Biddle at the top of the key, pass it off for, now it's back to Carter. Carter goes past, takes another shot, and another shot falls for the big man. Biddle has been impressive all over the floor tonight, converting on all of his mid-range and long-range shots. The Terps with the ball in their offensive zone. Solomon Washington now off for Miles Rice at the top of the key. Rice trying to set something up. Back for Washington. Washington with a three-point attempt, another miss. The Terps initially had possession there for a second, George Turkson Jr., and it will be ruled Maryland keeps the ball as a swat attempt from Oregon sends it out. Terps with 20 seconds on the shot clock. Miles Rice will be the inbound man.
They've got a full clock here, Andrew. Let's see if they can do something with it. This is the type where you get the ball up top and you set up some sort of play.
Rice into Saunders right underneath. Saunders trying to back it up. Now off for Washington. A wide open three-point attempt, and this time it falls. After starting the game 1 for 10 from beyond the arc, Maryland finally gets back in that category courtesy of Solomon Washington.
This was a guy that was 1 for 6 before that big three there, now sitting at 2 for 7.
Oregon tries to get something going quickly, but another good response from Maryland on the defensive end. Darius Adams now on offense for the Terps at the top of the key. The freshman trying to set something up. Passes it off for Miles Rice. Rice patting his head. Saunders faked the screen attempt, now going back in for another. Back to Saunders at the top of the key. Another three-point attempt and another miss from the big man, the transfer from Virginia. Oregon collects the rebound, moving with some tempo as Demir sets a screen on Adams. Simpkins now back for Lynn. Lynn down low to Biddle, back to Simpkins. And Simpkins traveled. A really excellent response on defense, transition defense there from the Terps, as it looked like the Ducks were going to get something quickly set up with a screen set by Demir and an easy lane there for Lynn. But the Terps respond very well and force another turnover, like you said, James, just a few minutes ago. Some sloppy turnovers here for Oregon so far.
And Andrew, I'm just going to change your language a little bit on that. It wasn't a forced turnover. This is an unforced turnover. And that's what we've seen all night from Oregon is multiple unforced turnovers, travels, things where they just, like, these are sloppy plays that a coach like Dana Altman is well equipped to solving. And it's just the guys on the court that aren't getting the job done offensively.
Diggy Coit back in for the Terps. He takes the three-point attempt, and that one falls. We've talked about how big of an impact he can have on this team, one of the veterans on this new roster. Started off pretty shaky beyond 3. 0 for 2, now 1 for 3 as the Terps are back within 3. KJ Evans with the ball for the Ducks, now off for Lynn. Lynn driving to his left, and it's blocked, but the bucket will count. Called goaltending there from against Solomon Washington as the ball was already on its way down. Oregon now back up by 5, leading 23-18.
But you don't mind that. That's an energy play. It just shows Solomon Washington is looking for the effort. And obviously the crowd looking at that one again, not sure if that was a block or if that was clean. I would say that's a goaltend because the ball is coming down. But I'm sure the Maryland faithful is highly in disagreement with me.
An excellent point you made there, James. Definitely an energy play regardless of the outcome. Got this Maryland crowd back in the game a little bit. Maryland now back on offense. Once again, Diggy Coit on the right side, gets a screen from Turkson, now off for Adams to Solomon Washington on the left side. He gets fouled, and his conversion is good. An impressive bucket from the Texas A&M transfer. Maryland's leading scorer in the game, and the reason why they are so close so far. Drives it in, gets slapped by Biddle, and still converts. And now he will head to the line for a chance at a three-point play and for the opportunity to get him to be Maryland's first double-digit scorer of the game.
And who else other than Solomon Washington going to be this leading scorer that fills up the low block position where Pharrell Payne is absent right now?
Yet unfortunately, Washington misses the free throw attempt. Maryland now moving to 3 of 5 from the charity stripe.
Yeah, and if there's a area of Washington's game that's probably its worst or thing that's worth pointing out, he's a 25% free throw shooter. Excuse me, a 68% free throw shooter, completely different. That was his three-point shot, but not a good free throw shooter.
Maryland making a substitution. Colin Metcalf coming in for Elijah Saunders. Metcalf, a guy who has not seen a lot of minutes so far in this early season, but a guy that does provide some size and 3-and-D ability for this Terps team.
Just getting Saunders a little rest. He's first in minutes for the Terps with over 375 this season, so just get him a couple minutes to rest. Let Metcalf get out there and get some reps.
Three-point attempt from Lynn falls short. Another scrounge for the ball that once again ends up in Oregon's hands. Now another driving attempt there from Lindsay. Really tight defense by Darius Adams, but an excellent conversion there from Lindsay. Oregon back up 5, leading 25-20.
That take from Lindsay is one of those where you just wonder how that ball went in the hoop. It doesn't make sense. There's 3 guys contesting it. One of them looked like they got a fingertip on it, and that's just better offense from Lindsay.
Coit back on offense for the Terps. Another fadeaway mid-range that falls. Coit starting to get into a rhythm, which will be a great addition for the Terps in this close matchup. Coit with a player season high of 41 against Mount St. Mary's back in November. A true flash in the pan player who can provide a lot for these Terps. Now Oregon back with it. Biddle trying to drive down low, and he converts once more. Just really unfair size advantage for him. Metcalf a similar size, but Biddle just really physical, able to bang it inside and convert some of these tough moving baskets. Coit driving it down for the Terps, gets contacted and loses the ball in the process. Goes out of bounds as Oregon will regain possession, still up 5. 2 teams head to the bench for the final media timeout of the first half. Just 3 minutes and 30 seconds remaining. We will take a quick break here on WMUC Sports. I'm Andrew Breza, joined by James Consoli. We'll be back in a couple minutes. Back here in College Park for WMUC Sports, Andrew Breza, James Consoli, sending it back down to our sideline guy, Peter Kelly. Obviously, this is the second time these two teams have matched up. Last year, they played a year ago to the date in Oregon. Kelly, what do you have about last year's matchup?
Yeah, appreciate it, Andrew. These two teams faced off early in Big Ten play last year, and it was the Ducks who actually came away with a narrow 83-79 win in Eugene. The Terps led by 13 halfway through the first, but a 14-0 Oregon run to start out the second turned the tide in favor of the Ducks. Maryland was led by Rodney Rice, now at USC with 19 points, and Oregon, ranked 9th in the AP poll at the time, got 23 points from Jackson Shellstad on 8 of 10 shooting, including 5 of 5 from distance. It was Maryland who got the last laugh, however, getting to the Sweet 16 while Oregon bowed out in the round of 32. Back over to you guys.
Thank you, Peter, as always. Oregon back in possession. Simpkins off for Lynn on the left side. Lynn trying to make something happen. Back for Simpkins on the right side. Takes a shot from beyond the arc, and it falls. An impressive shot there from the guard, as he was 0 for 3 prior to that, now 1 for 4. Oregon's offensive attack been very balanced so far here in this game. Terps back in possession. Darius Adams on the left side of the key. Passed off for Diggy Coit at the top. Now Andre Mills on the right side. He takes a three-point attempt. Falls short, but he's able to get his own rebound in the corner. Back off for Adams. Adams, three-point attempt right at the center, and it falls. That's something we've seen from the five-star freshman. He's grown more confident. He's hitting more of these long-range shots and just getting more and more confidence with each game going by.
I'm glad you talk about that with Darius Adams, that confidence element. Shooting 27% from beyond the arc coming into this one, and that big one gets him at 33 for the night. Let's see if he has more in store.
Oregon back on offense, setting it inside for KJ Evans, and another improbable basket for the Baltimore native. 3 guys around him, able to put it up, and it falls. A very impressive player who we've mentioned. It's been big time for the Ducks to get him back from injury. Terps back on offense. Colin Metcalf at the top of the key. Passes it to Darius Adams. Adams now off for Mills. Mills back to Adams. Adams trying to drive it in on the left side, and he gets fouled.
Darius Adams, a really strong guy at getting to the basket and getting fouled. Only 1 trip to the line so far for Adams, but I think in the next minute or so he will get more. Right now, neither team in the bonus in this first half, so it will just be a baseline out.
The Terps still with 20 seconds on the shot clock. Will try and set something back up. 2 men on the perimeter, 1 man at the top of the key, 1 man inside. Passing inside to Andre Mills. A shot that was blocked. A very impressive block there inside, as it looked like Mills had a clear path. The Terps get their rebound, though, now trying to reset. Adams off for Solomon Washington. Washington trying to drive it inside, and he gets fouled. Washington will head back to the line with another attempt to become the Terps' first double-digit scorer of the game. It's been, like we said a few minutes ago, a very balanced attack for these Oregon Ducks, who have points across the board. The Terps more so getting a contribution from Solomon Washington. Diggy Coit also with 5 points coming off the bench. Maryland 7 points to Oregon's 2. As Washington converts the first free throw attempt, bringing Maryland within 6, and he's now up to 10 points in the day. 3 of 8 shooting, 1 of 3 beyond the arc, and 3 for 4 now beyond the arc, trying to make it 4 for 5.
Andrew, a balanced effort. 6 different scorers for the Ducks right now and 5 for Maryland. So it's not just coming off from one guy. We'll see how things stack up as the game progresses. And we just see George Turkson Jr. coming in and Colin Metcalf getting some bench minutes.
Washington hits the second attempt. Maryland down by 5. As Miles Rice plays some quick defense on the defensive zone, gets the ball out of Lynn's hands. Lynn dives for it, out of bounds, and regains possession, but not before he hits out of bounds. An impressive play there from the Indiana transfer, as Maryland will get the ball back in their offensive zone.
Yeah, and for Miles Rice, you know, he's a question of should this guy be getting more minutes? You know, it's a guy that has been able to excel in every category, but it's not really the stat leader in every category, but double digits in 2 of the last 3 games for Rice.
Now Rice, a three-point attempt that bounces off the rim, but a foul called on Maryland. George Turkson Jr. underneath the basket, a loose ball foul. You know, James, I actually had the chance to meet Miles Rice's uncle, who told me a lot about the injuries that he was going through coming into this season. Obviously, it's been a bit of a tough road back for him. He's definitely starting to grow into a role where you think he's going to continue to carve out a bigger role.
Yeah, and for Rice, looks like we just got a foul off ball there, will stay Oregon's possession. But for Rice, this is a guy that's not unfamiliar with tough battles. Had a battle with Hodgkin's lymphoma in 2022. And then after that, obviously you talk about the little injuries, but this guy is, I don't want to say hard-headed, but he has been through the difficult battles and the fire, and now he's just happy to be playing ball again at a school like Maryland. Rice, happy to have him here.
Absolutely. That was Maryland's 7th foul of this first half, so Oregon enters the bonus. Simpkins at the line converts the first attempt. Simpkins trying to stay perfect on the day from the charity stripe. 3 for 3 so far, and he makes it 4 for 4 to put Oregon back up by 7. Just 72 seconds remaining in this first half. Miles Rice will take it up for the Terps. Rice with a fake screen there by Saunders. Saunders now off for Darius Adams on the left side. Adams back to Rice on the right, and he sends it right back to Adams. Adams trying to put the moves on, sends it down low for Solomon Washington. Back for Adams. Now to the corner for Elijah Saunders. Saunders to Mills on the right side. Mills now driving it in. Mills back out to the corner for Miles Rice, who fakes a shot. Maryland running out of time, and their quick tempo offense failed them as the ball goes out of bounds. Looked like they had something going there for a second, but I think they just got a little too trigger happy with trying to find the perfect opportunity as they turn it over once again. 43 seconds remaining in this first half. Ducks up by 7. Drew Carter bringing it up for the Ducks. Miles Rice on him like glue, not giving them an inch. Carter trying to make something happen. Rice still on him. Carter off for Biddle. Biddle guarded by Andre Mills. Biddle trying to drive it inside. Now back to Carter. Now off for Simpkins on the left side. Simpkins with the shot clock winding down, under 5. Back to Biddle for a three-point attempt. Fakes out Andre Mills. Another three-point attempt. That does not fall. Just 10 seconds remaining in this first half. Andre Mills bringing it up for the Terps. He takes a three-point attempt. Once again, does not fall. Up in the air, recovered by the Terps. A three-point attempt from Solomon Washington does not fall. Trying to beat the buzzer. As a bit of a scrum there between Maryland and Oregon in front of Oregon's bench. The first half comes to a close with Oregon leading by 7. But once again, if you look at these shooting numbers, you would think it was a whole lot worse than it is. Oregon, an incredible 50% from the field so far and 38 from 3, 100% from the charity stripe. Maryland, 27% from the field, 9 for 33 shooting, just 22% from beyond the arc, but they did improve vastly from their rough 1 of 10 start, 71% from the free throw line. James, as we look ahead to this second half, like we've said, it definitely wasn't the perfect half for either side. Both sides with some sloppy play, some sloppy turnovers, but still in a tightly knitted game. What do you think has to happen for the Terps in the second half to come back from this deficit and win this game?
Andrew, the problem isn't how often they are shooting the ball, because they're shooting the ball. You had 33 shots, whereas Oregon only with 26. It's about making those shots. And obviously they started slow from the three-point land. I'm looking for guys to ignite the fire. I'm looking for Diggy Coit. He had 2 quick buckets after struggling early on, and Coit is the kind of guy that when he catches fire, he dropped 41 points in this place versus a team like Mount St. Mary's. So Coit has to kind of be the igniter tonight. That's all I got to say. And as for Oregon, keep doing what they're doing. I like the last defensive possession that they had there, forcing the turnover against Miles Rice. And ultimately, Oregon just needs to attack the glass offensively and get the offensive rebounds is a big one.
The Ducks continue to lead the rebounding battle 21-17, but the disparity has shrunk a little bit. Maryland doing a better job there. Oregon with 7 turnovers, Terps with 3. The Terps also have 5 points off turnovers compared to Oregon's 3. We will take a quick break for halftime after what was a pretty exciting first half and what is sure to be an even more exciting final 20 minutes. We'll be back in about 15 minutes for WMUC Sports. I'm Andrew Breza, joined by James Consoli.
Pressure on you right now. What you gonna do? Okay, we got some lambs actually going in this time. Now, Eric. Eric, you know I'm very disappointed in you, bro. It's over, man. You got to go, Eric. First one to go is Eric. Now we're taking a chair. Get the dribble in. Get the dribble in. Let's get the dribble in. Chris Styles, I'm loving the music tonight. Time to go, make a layup. Okay. Y'all using that big square up there. That's what it's made for. Oh, Michael C., it's time for you to see the sideline, sir. You are eliminated. One more chair down. We got 3 contestants. Who's gonna win? 3 contestants. Who's gonna win? All right, we about to be down at 2. Okay, nice lefty layup. Hey, Jake, you're doing pretty good. Wait a minute, we fight for the last chair. Oh, you got to go. He's the closest to the chair, so that means you got to go, my boy. All right, we are down to our final 2 contestants. Y'all make some noise for them, College Park. We going all out for the prize pack. Who can make the layup? Who's going to make this layup? Who's getting back to the seat? It is Jay! Congratulations, brother. You're going with it, girl, the prize pack. Nicely done. Make some noise for my guy, Jay, our winner!
In Turksville, we don't just chase greatness. We build it for every athlete, every team, every thing. Because behind every moment is you. One Maryland provides NIL opportunities and resources, empowering our student athletes to build their brands, get back to our communities, and win titles. Let's build a championship culture. We are one Maryland. Join today.
The game is connection, opportunity, where we find confidence and community. But not everyone gets the same shot. We should all have the right to play. The game. It's our gift. We all have the right to experience the gift of the game.
Solomon Eye Physicians and Surgeons, the official LASIK surgeon for the Maryland Terrapins, is proud to highlight our Terp of the Week, Darius Adams from men's basketball. For the most state-of-the-art technology and surgical procedures, choose Solomon Eye Physicians and Surgeons. The Terps have made 5 free throws so far, which means another 500 meals have been donated to local food pantries and food banks through Food Line Feeds' Score to Give Water program. Check out today's concessions item of the game, Disco Fries. These ruby fries come with cheese and gravy and can be purchased for only $6.99 at the concession stand behind section 110. Make sure to get yours now. Please turn your attention to the video board for a few special messages. Happy birthday, Tommy Nanny. It's happy 13th birthday. And happy 13th birthday, Andrew Hyde. Thanks for
There are nights when the building won't let me loose.
Right down. Get up, Turk! Get up, Turk! Let's get back!
Welcome back to College Park. Just some second half action being brought to you. It's 10 seconds into this second half. Maryland down 27-34 at the half. Looks like a drive inside. Solomon Washington going to get the roll off the glass. Defended there from KJ Evans, a forward out of Baltimore, Maryland. Some Maryland on Maryland crime there as he takes them straight to the racks. Now, Oregon's offensive possession right there. Looks like Des Lindsey tries a pass down to the low block. Intercepted and interrupted from Maryland's Andre Mills. Went out of bounds, but Lindsey will have the inbound on the side near the Oregon bench on their offensive side of the hoop. Here's Biddle. Nate Biddle feeds it off up top. Now it's Wei Lin who's starting tonight. Biddle drives in, tries the right-handed layup, and that one blocked off the glass. A lot of controversy off that last take. Looks like refs are calling it a goaltend on the floor. Let's see. We have a second look of it, and that'll be a goaltend. See, it touches off the glass before Solomon Washington gets to it, and that'll be Solo's second goaltend of the night. Obviously, we love the effort and the hustle. He just needs to time these a little better. As for Maryland, now Darius Adams into Maryland's front court. Little pull-up jumper from the right wing. He's got it. There's two for Maryland. Their first points in this second half from a jump shot. Obviously, Washington with their last layup. Wei Lin drives across the top of the key, now at the right elbow. Now back outside near the Gary Williams print on the floor. Just 5 to 10 feet outside the three-point line. Now Nate Biddle, 100% so far for tonight on the right wing. And here's Wei Lin. Drives into the corner. Now KJ Evans at the wing. Evans drives across the lane. Kicks out to the corner. Intercepted Isaiah Watts. And Maryland drives into the front court. Watts knocked down. Gets the foul. The native of Slick Watts, the NBA legend, showing off his defensive prowess as Watts has been a key piece for the Terps tonight.
We've talked a lot about how Diggy Coit is one of those X factors for Maryland. I think the same is true of Isaiah Watts. We saw it at the end of the first half in the Old Dominion game on Sunday, and you're seeing them in flashes here. He can provide a spark. He's a great 3-and-D player, both beyond the arc and in cases like that where he just makes a super athletic defensive play.
Here's Andre Mills, travels into the front court. Now, Darius Adams near that Maryland logo. Gets the screen from Elijah Saunders. Kicks it out in the corner. Solo Washington. Back up Saunders. Now at the top is Isaiah Watts. Gives it off to Darius Adams. A step back three from the wing. Off the front iron. A rebound from Maryland maybe. Great hustle there from Andre Mills. Tries to throw it off the back of Devin Pryor from Oregon, not going to go. This one, the Ducks ball, up 5, 2 minutes into the second half.
It's one big thing Buzz Williams has said about some of these guys he's brought from Texas A&M, especially Andre Mills, playing through the whistle, goes tumbling into the crowd there, going for that rebound.
KJ Evans dumps it off to Waylon, who gets it to Nate Biddle in the front court. Back to Evans, swatted at the rim from Washington, but this one called a foul. Looks like we will see our first trip to the free throw line from the returning Evans.
His first personal. It's the first team foul of the second half.
We've obviously established how important Evans is to this Ducks roster. Their leader in field goal percentage, their leader in rebounds. Outside of Jackson Shellstad, their leading guy from the free throw line. And of course, as I say that, he misses his first one. But just the impact he has on this Ducks roster, you just can't understate it enough.
It's a guy second in free throw made for this Ducks lineup despite being out last game. Evans gets to the glass as now Maryland moving swiftly into the front court. A drive inside from Andre Mills. A deep kick out. Isaiah Watts, who's going to do the same. Turned away now. Oregon with the steal in the paint. Now Waylon has it. Travels into their front court. Now looking to score. KJ Evans from outside. Guarded pretty loosely from Adams on the wing, just at the three-point line. Now Waylon travels against Watts, gonna drive in, swatted away from Isaiah Watts. Now Maryland moving quickly in transition. Darius Adams gonna take it to the Rex, gets the coast-to-coast two. Maryland moving with some swagger.
This is the exact start these Terps needed in the second half. They're playing with tempo, and they're making it a closer game.
Down 4 now, 17 and a half minutes left remaining in this second half. KJ Evans has it, guarded tightly from Solomon Washington, who's been hands ready, doing a good job at keeping the native Baltimorean and junior away from the basket, but Evans has gotten his tonight with 9 points. Here's a drive inside from Simpkins to Kai. Simpkins takes it to the racks and gets deuce. Puts the lead back at 6 for the Ducks. Watts gonna try a deep three. Shot that one from Eugene, Oregon. As a beautiful save from Darius Adams keeps the possession alive, turned away. Now to Kai Simpkins, and the Ducks have it. Just crossing half court. Simpkins and Oregon looking to set up another play. Simpkins dumps it off to Nate Biddle. Biddle has been so strong tonight, 5 of 6 from the field. Drive inside from KJ Evans, who they've been missing. Got his own rebound, tapped it back in off the glass. He's got double digits now.
KJ Evans just like so physical. You look at him and you think obviously like provides a lot, but just such physicality for a guy that's not super like big.
A drive inside from Andre Mills, swatted away from the third in Big Ten block shot maker. And transition is to Kai Simpkins. Now rebounded here is Solomon Washington and Terps. Maryland moves in. Andre Mills kicked out into the corner. Isaiah Watts rattled out, but Solomon Washington, another offensive rebound. He leads this Terp squad in those this season, and he's showing it tonight. Now Washington has 3 offensive rebounds on the night. Leads the Maryland squad in offensive rebounds tonight, as well as Nate Biddle gets a shot from up top. That'll be Biddle's second missed three-pointer of the night. And now in transition is Adams, who gets fouled, going to the racks, takes it right at Waylon's face, and Nate Biddle from the Oregon Ducks is down. Looks like he got smacked in the face, but that will bring us to our first media timeout of this second half. We're 5 minutes into this second half as Oregon Ducks are up 6 over the Maryland Terrapins here in College Park. James Consoli alongside Andrew Breza. And Andrew, what have you seen in this first quarter of the second half?
The Terps are just playing with a lot of momentum and physicality. It's what you kind of had to do after a bit of a lackluster first half. They stayed in it, but they didn't play with a whole lot of intensity. You see them playing with a whole lot of intensity. You can tell that Buzz Williams in that locker room was really getting into them as they went to the bench for that called timeout. Buzz Williams immediately goes up to Isaiah Watts and Darius Adams and gives them a strong high five and chest bump. You can tell that he loves the fast way they've started the second half. Still down by 6, but they're playing with a lot more momentum. It's getting this crowd back in it. Definitely an ideal start for these Terps so far.
And so with that, we will send it to a short break and come back with maybe a key component that these Ducks are missing tonight as to why they haven't been so great in the defensive end of the court. Back in just a moment on WMUC Sports Radio. Welcome back to Xfinity Center, a long way away from Eugene, Oregon. I'm James Consoli alongside Andrew Breza and Peter Kelly, and there's somebody missing from the Oregon offense tonight and in the defense backcourt tonight, right, Peter?
Yeah, well, Oregon's actually doing it tonight without their starting point guard, Jackson Shellstead. We were a little surprised he wasn't in the starting lineup initially, and word has emerged that he is out tonight with an undisclosed injury. We can see Shellstead in an all-black tracksuit on the sideline with a black brace on his right hand. The severity is still up in the air, but he's a big beast to lose. The 3-year starter from Westland, Oregon, is having his best season in the green and yellow. He's averaging 16 points a contest, second on the team behind Middle, and he leads the Ducks in assists and steals. In his absence, Altman turns to sophomore Wei Lin from Xiamen, China. He hasn't started since the season opener versus Hawaii and is still trying to find his shot with a 27% clip from the field and 18% from distance. Altman has been critical of Lin's defense recently, and Maryland has gone right at him tonight. It's plus-minus a -2, the worst mark for Oregon in this contest. Shellstad's a big loss, and the Terps need to capitalize. Back to you guys.
Amazing. Thank you, Peter, as netting the first free throws of the second half. One there from Darius Adams in Maryland as the score is 41-36. The Ducks up just 5 minutes into this second half. There's a drive inside from Takai Simpkins, who's going to kick it out to Biddle, and not something we see from the big man Biddle. Fumbling with slippery hands, a senior, a veteran for this Duck squad. Turns it over there now, and we're going to see a new substitute coming in, getting some first second half minutes. It's Diggy Coit. Coit, the Kansas transfer, 5 points so far tonight, 1 for 3 from the three-point line. Miles Rice driving baseline for Maryland, just takes it all the way out. Not hardly contested. Darius Adams. Adams is a product the Terps have looked to from New Jersey. Adams tries up a circus shot and rebounds and just throws it out. Not the strongest play from the Maryland freshman as an alley-oop comes inside. And oh my goodness, Andrew Breza, I thought I was about to see a circus shot there off that alley-oop.
I mean, that transition was just like, what just happened? I mean, I respect the effort that Adams made on the offensive side, but you can kind of still see, even though he's growing, that was a pretty freshman play for him to make, just a bit of a sloppy shot. And yeah, on the transition offense, Oregon, well, we thought we were going to watch someone get baptized right there. That was a really impressive pass. It looked like it was going to go down, but just a little off the mark. Would have been a very beautiful play for the Ducks, no doubt.
Yeah, it did look like Devin Pryor was about to give somebody a new life there after that dunk. Inbounded Biddle from the baseline. Biddle going to throw up a shot and has not been efficient this second half. In transition now is Miles Rice in Maryland. Miles Rice crosses half court, fumbles the ball. Now he's just laying on it. Looks like it's going to be a jump ball here. But a timeout actually called from the veteran Buzz Williams as he's coming out and starting to yell at his squad and telling them what is going on. Let's get set up. Down 5, 14 minutes and a half left in this second half. Maryland and Buzz Williams, you can bet that they are going to try and draw up a play because this is a key point in the game, Andrew. Just that turning point that we talked about.
Absolutely. I mean, you see Buzz Williams, like you said, he's a veteran. This is his 4th school, looking to become one of just 3 coaches all time to get 100 wins at 4 different schools. He's been everywhere. He's seen everything. A very smart play there, but immediately laying into his guys, especially Darius Adams, like, guys, what are we doing? That was some pretty sloppy basketball right at the end there. A guy like Adams, like we've mentioned, you can see the upside, no doubt. He has an incredible frame. He's got great size. He's got great physicality. Still trying to put it together. On Sunday's broadcast, me and Peter talked about it quite often, about the growth you see is exactly what you want to see out of a freshman. Sometimes you have unrealistic expectations for these freshmen, especially for us Maryland guys seeing Derek Queen last year, just like one of the best players in the country as a freshman. That's not always going to happen. A guy like Darius Adams, he needs to put it together, but you need to give him some time. And with other young guys coming in, like next year, Baba Latitude, you can really start to see like a really just special Maryland squad starting to form, but it starts with the little things, and Darius Adams is certainly still having some of those freshman mistakes.
So a 9-7 run for the Terps coming into this second half, really trying to turn things around on the Ducks. Still down 5 though, so they still have their work cut out for them as we are at this timeout. We'll be back in just a moment here on WMUC Radio, your sports and your Terps, your station.
All right, Terps fans, who's hungry for a win? I know I am. It's time for the Jersey match, presented by Jersey Mike's. Pull out those smartphones and scan the QR code up on the scoreboard. Match the basketball jerseys, play the game, and you can win some delicious prizes, courtesy of Jersey Mike's. Just like that. Fast, fun, and packed with flavor, just like your favorite sub from Jersey Mike's. Don't wait. Play Jersey Match now and see if you're an instant winner. Jersey Mike's, a sub above.
Entering into the new year, these squads, Oregon Ducks and Maryland Terrapins, first game since starting this new year, and some new beginnings as well, beginning that Big Ten play, and both these squads looking for their first in-conference win tonight. Alongside Andrew Breza, I'm James Consoli. Andrew, just a couple minutes into this second half. Looks like we're gonna have a sideline inbound here from Darius Adams. Gets it into Saunders, who sets a little screen, now gets it off to Coit. Back to Saunders in the corner, bodying down low is Sean Stewart. Coit gets the screen from Saunders on the wing. Left wing now, Darius Adams calling for a screen at the top of the key near the Maryland logo. Has Solomon Washington give it to him. Adams gets tripped up, now finds Washington at the wing. He can't miss. Solomon Washington with 17 points so far for this squad. He's their leading scorer and leading rebounder. The absence that the Maryland was looking for in that offensive prowess as Takai Simpkins takes it up off the glass. Oregon bench thought it should have been an and one, but referee's not giving it to him there. Darius Adams and the Terps swift in transition now. Looked like a quicker inbound than you'd see if somebody got dunked on. Here's Mills, top of the key. He gets it to the free throw line, takes a little jumper there. Gets fouled, so it looks like a shooting foul is going to be called. Mills will take his first trip to the line tonight.
We keep talking about it. Obviously, Farrell Payne's absence is a big thing for these Terps. And, you know, we've said that we expect some of these smaller guards to go crash the boards. But time and time again, it's Solomon Washington coming up for these Terps, both on offense and defense. Like you said just a second ago, their leading scorer, their leading rebounder. He doesn't quite have the size that Payne does. He's not that traditional 5, although in today's college basketball, there really is no sort of like traditional position anymore. It's very positionless, but he's just a guy who finds a way to impact the game in any means possible.
And also a guy with the most trips to the free throw line tonight is Washington. Just been able to be so strong. One of those was an and one as well. And here's a 3 from Takai Simpkins. Off the mark, rebounded from Nate Biddle. But that one off the fingertips of Biddle will go Maryland's way as that ball runs out of bounds. And we'll see our first substitution of the second half. A nightmare for Maryland fans. It's KJ Evans.
Terps doing a really good job tonight so far of capitalizing off of Oregon's mistakes. Now just down 3, they're finding ways to get back on the offensive zone after some of these sloppy turnovers.
Darius Adams gets the top of the 3 screen from Solomon Washington, turns it over there, intercepted by Drew Carter, who played D1 football and basketball at Colorado before heading even more northern to Eugene, Oregon, as Oregon turns it over in the front court. Just a sloppy pass there from Sean Stewart. Could not be handled from the aforementioned KJ Evans. And so now Maryland will have another attempt to maybe even tie this one, Andrew.
Absolutely. I mean, like we were just saying before that, just once again, just another really sloppy, unforced turnover from these Ducks. And although that Maryland is playing a good game on both ends, Oregon's kind of keeping them in it. And now, with it just being a 3-point game, this crowd is getting more into it as well, which is a big thing for a home team in a conference game.
George Turkson Jr. in for the Terps.
And now Turkson Jr. coming back in for Maryland as Solo Washington, the leading scorer and leading rebounder for tonight, gets some bench minutes for Buzz Williams in Maryland. Diggy Coit has it at the top of the three, logo. Coit can shoot from that range, so they better step up. KJ Evans guarding tightly on the wing. Evans is a lot taller than Coit, 6'10". As now we'll see Saunders get the ball down low and tries to drive in on Takai Simpkins in the paint. He gets fouled, but not sure if that'll be a shooting foul or if that one's just on the floor. It appears that that one will be a baseline inbound for Maryland. So taking it will be Diggy Coit, who gets it quickly inbounded to Turkson Jr. Gets it back is Coit in the wing, in the corner three, crossover for Coit. Off the back iron, Takai Simpkins into the front court for Oregon. Maryland would have tied it at 43 apiece with 12.5 minutes remaining after that three from Coit, but it's a miss off the rim. And so now is Drew Carter. Simpkins gets the screen from KJ Evans and now finds Drew Carter again. Carter getting an air ball chance from the crowd as Buzz Williams is elated from the bench. Takai Simpkins gets the screen from Sean Stewart. Has to weave up a shot here. Not going to get it. A strong defensive stance as Maryland faithful are on their feet in Xfinity. The Terps have another chance to tie it at 43 in the second half.
I mean, what a beautiful possession on the defensive end for Maryland. They didn't give Oregon any breathing room. Buzz Williams was damn near at half court, like just pacing up and down, just telling his guys to get in position, getting in their ears, even on the other side of the court. Excellent possession there from the Terps.
But that's the energy they need as the decibel reads 81 in here. I think it feels a little bit louder than that, Andrew, as Isaiah Watson, Maryland get it into the front court, looking to score on the Ducks. Here's Diggy Coit, who gets the screen from Turkson, top of the key. Coit, step back three. This one not going to go again, off the front rim. Coit has sort of struggled from outside tonight, 1 for 5 from the three. The team's best three-point shooter needs to get going. As here's Drew Carter. A little weave from the Ducks, handed off to Jamari Phillips. Now back to Carter. Here's Des Lindsey. Lindsey, the product out of Kentucky, a senior. Gets it back up top. Here's a three from Jamari Phillips. That one off the mark, and it runs out of bounds. The Terps will have the ball, headed with 11 minutes left in this second half, and they can make it even keeled at 43 apiece. Here in Xfinity, Maryland looking for its first win over the Ducks all time. Be back here in just a moment.
Blake, and I have Maryland pride.
I'm just your reason, and I have Maryland pride.
I'm Gary Williams, and I have Maryland pride. I'm Tony Massenberg, and I have Maryland pride.
I'm Jameer Young, and I have Maryland pride.
I'm Donald Trump, and I have Maryland pride. I'm Derek Queen, and I have Maryland pride. I'm Williams Vasquez, and I have Maryland pride. Let's go! Let's go! Vamos!
All right, Terps Nation, it's time for a good old sing-along to a disco classic we all know the words to. This one is called Dancing Queen. If you see yourself on the big screen, I want to see you sing.
Dancing back in College Park as Maryland is down by 3 to the Oregon Ducks. second time these two squads have faced off, and Peter Kelly, our sideline reporter, has an update from down on the court. Peter.
Yeah, Maryland's leading scorer tonight has been Solomon Washington, of all people. Not really known for his offense. He's averaging 8.5 and 8.5 rebounds and points a game, respectively. He missed the first 8 games with injury, but he started the last 6. The 3-star recruit out of Carver Academy in New Orleans was the 2022 Louisiana Gatorade Player of the Year. And he spent 3 years at Texas A&M, moved over with Buzz Williams. His best year was his sophomore year in 23-24, averaging about 7.5 points and 5.7 rebounds a game. He hasn't shot the ball too well this year, just 38% from the field and 25% from distance. But he's done well tonight, 6 of 12 from the field, including 1 of 4 from 3, and the big number, 4 of 5 from the free throw line. His career high is 18, which he hit twice in his sophomore year. He's got 17 tonight on 6 of 12 shooting. He's just 1 away from equalizing and 2 away from getting a new career best for the junior forward. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Peter, and I am a dancing queen. If Maryland ties this thing at 43 apiece, we will have one heck of a dance floor on the hardwood as both these squads. Just 11 minutes and 17 seconds left here in College Park for the second showing of Maryland versus Oregon basketball. All time, kind of crazy. Andrew Breza, I'm James Consoli. And Coit gets across half court for Maryland. Their first possession out of the timeout. Coit has it at the logo, dumps it off to Watts. Andre Mills in the corner, not guarded tightly, but Coit up top on the wing. Now here's a corner 3 from Saunders, who rattles it home and ties it at 43 apiece. Maryland bringing it back, and the energy is live here at Xfinity. Here's Nate Biddle at the free throw line, finds KJ Evans inside. Evans able to settle the crowd down. Like he got him ready for bedtime the way they shut off, turned the TV off. KJ Evans. Now Maryland has that second possession coming out of the timeout that we just had. Isaiah Watts, now a lot of ball movement, gets the screen from Solomon Washington. Watts, another corner 3 from Saunders. This one off the front rim, bounced, but a rebound. Solomon Washington has disrupted plays on the offensive glass all night. He does it again. This ball will stay Maryland as the fingertips of the Ducks hit it out.
You just said it a second ago. Maryland continues to find ways to stay in this game, both of their own volition and finding ways to capitalize off of Oregon's mistakes. And it might be winter break here in College Park, but these Terp faithful, they continue to pack this building.
And here's a corner 3 from Isaiah Watts as he falls down in the corner. That's off the mark. Oregon 45, Maryland 43. A quarter of this game left, just 10 minutes remaining in this second half. As Drew Carter shovels it off there, gets the pass off to Jamari Phillips, who now finds Carter back, gets it to Sean Stewart. Carter finds Biddle down on the low block. Looks like a foul there. It appears it might be on Saunders, who was holding Biddle on the block. So Diggy Coit will get subbed out, and incoming Miles Rice. Rice hasn't had the strongest performance for Maryland tonight. Only 2 points, 1 of 2 from the field. But a guy I want to talk about too, who's in right now, is Andre Mills. Sure, he's only got 2 points. He's 0 for 6 from the field, but he's a guy with 4 rebounds and 2 assists. He knows how to get the intangibles down. As inbounded from the low block is Biddle to Evans. Actually was Sean Stewart, who will go to the line. This will be Stewart's first trip to the free throw line tonight. So now he has a chance to put this lead in 2-possession territory. And Stewart just struggles from the line so far this season. As the decibels get louder here in Xfinity, Stewart tries his second attempt. Both bricks off the glass. Rebounded from Maryland. Who else than Solomon Washington? 8 rebounds now for Washington, 17 points. Triple threat position from Isaiah Watts in the corner. Gets it off to Andre Mills. Up top is Miles Rice, who's going to drive in. A little Euro step, take his time. That one off the glass. Rebounded from Sean Stewart, who just had the free throw attempts. Dumps it off to Drew Carter. Crosses half court now. Oregon in enemy territory. A deep three attempt from Jamari Phillips, rattles it home, makes this game a 2-possession score. Maryland looking to fight back.
I mean, that's one way to suck the life out of a building. What a shot there from Phillips.
And so now Maryland has it. Andre Mills, who hasn't had the best performance tonight, hasn't really made a field goal from the floor, tries to turn that around. Rattles that one, but it runs out there. It's a struggle for Mills tonight. As now Drew Carter brings it into the front court. Guarded tightly, hands flying everywhere from Rice. Biddle has it up top. Here's Nate Biddle. He's just been so good for this squad all season. Biddle has 11 points, tied for the leading scorer tonight for the Ducks. Biddle guarded from the wing at the three-point line. KJ Evans, who missed last game, kicks it out. Drew Carter. Carter off the glass bank there, rebounded from Maryland. Now in the front court as Andre Mills weaves his way through traffic, gets the bucket. Beautiful acrobatic move. You'd think he'd be a gymnast.
End of the scoring drought of almost 3 minutes there for the Terps, too. That was a massive bucket from Andre Mills to get his first points of the game.
Here's a response, another deep three from Jamari Phillips. He shot that one from Eugene, Oregon, as the Ducks go up 6. Here's Andre Mills, guarded tightly from KJ Evans. Now he gets space, he gets the mismatch on Stewart. Here's Solomon Washington bullying his way in against Biddle. That one misses everything. Rebounded Biddle in Oregon. Drew Carter, former football player, played quarterback in high school and then played football at Colorado as well as basketball before finding his true love, shall I say, here on the Duck squad. Drew Carter. 10 seconds left on the clock. Carter dumps it off to KJ Evans. Evans tries to pass it back to Carter after getting double teamed. That one's tipped out of bounds. It will stay Oregon's possession with 6 seconds left on the offensive shot clock. Oregon up 6, 7 minutes remaining in this one. Please don't go anywhere. You're not going to want to miss the last couple of minutes of this. On WWC Sports alongside Peter Kelly and Andrew Breza, I'm James Consoli. We'll be back in just a minute.
Concentration into playing to your potential, to be the best that you can be. I don't care what the scoreboard says at the end of the game. In my book, we're going to be winners.
When you walk on that court, you have to think, I am the best guy out there.
When we step on the floor, every second that clock is ticking, we are pedal to the metal. We run the ball, we pressure the ball, and most importantly, we control the tempo of the game.
We got to go out there and we got to take it.
I want you to get up now. I want all of you to get up out of your chairs.
We're controlling this game. All right. Let's go. Let's go.
Let's go, on your feet, on your feet. Come on, come on, come on. Let's get loud. I can hear you.
Welcome back to Xfinity as things are getting excited. Andrew Breza, James Consoli, Peter Kelly giving you the voice of the game tonight. As Oregon has 6 seconds left, led on this shot clock. Inbounded here, finds Nate Biddle, is KJ Evans. He's fouled as he goes up. Extremely smart play and just a vet move from Dana Altman in his 16th season with this Duck squad. He's one of 3 active coaches in Division I with 28 consecutive winning seasons, joined by some legends, Tom Izzo and Bill Self. Altman's looking to do that again this season, Andrew, but struggles early on and just a banged up roster has halted their expectations. As Biddle nets the first free throw.
Injury's a big factor for both these teams, but these two coaches, like we've established, long-term veterans in the game, and they always find ways to make it work.
Unable to make it work there from the line is Nate Biddle. That's Biddle's first free throw missed of the night as Darius Adams and Maryland enter the front court. Adams, a little pick and pop with Solomon Washington, tries a baseline jumper, doesn't get it. Oregon up 7 left with just under 7 minutes remaining in this second half. Here's Wei Lin, three-point shooter who hasn't taken much since his early make. Here's KJ Evans, gets it off to Wei Lin. They're working at the top of the key. KJ Evans drives in, blocked by Solomon Washington, then blocked by Isaiah Watts. A tag team effort from that Maryland squad on the low perimeter, but it looks like they're gonna call a foul there. That one appears to be against Solomon Washington. Looks like they called him for the first one. That's arguable, but if Solomon Washington didn't get it, I think Isaiah Watts got a good amount of palm there.
We've talked about just how big KJ Evans is for this Ducks team, and you can see why. He just is the total package as a basketball player. He's got the height, he's got the physicality, but he's also got the finesse and the moves. Really impressive, fast play there to get to the basket and draw the foul.
As for Evans, makes the second free throw, unable to get the first, and so now the leading scorer for this Oregon Ducks squad is KJ Evans with 12. Diggy Coit gets the substitution as Isaiah Watts goes to the bench. Coit, his first play on the Terps offensive side of the court is a turnover, just a missed pass there to Andre Mills. Here's Wei Lin. Crosses into the front court, gets the screen from KJ Evans, finds Nate Biddle, a beautiful play set up as Takai Simpkins has the ball in the wing, guarded from Solomon Washington, who's been so strong tonight. Saunders guarding Nate Biddle well from the low block position as Biddle uses those eyes to find a cutting KJ Evans. Ball runs out at the baseline. Maryland ball with 6 minutes remaining, down 8. The Terps haven't really had a lead in this one since early in that first half, and now field goals wise, Maryland's one of the last 7. So here's Darius Adams, guarded from Simpkins, who finds Andre Mills cutting. He brings it back up top as Mills, and now Darius Adams has an ISO. Simpkins on an island. Here's Adams at the Maryland logo, finds Coit in the corner. Coit drives inside and then gets out to a step back 3, but hasn't shot it. Adams gets it back up top. Adams takes it right to the racks. Maryland unable to get anything as the shot clock expires. Not looking good for the Terps.
Looks like Solomon Washington tried to make the case that Adams' shot hit the rim, but the refs stick with their initial call. Really rough offensive output here for the Terps recently. Their defense still continues to do the job. Oregon, no field goals in the last 2.5 minutes.
Maryland scoring drought in almost 3 minutes as they have struggled since coming out of that first time out at the 11-minute mark. 5 minutes, 15 seconds left in this one as Oregon's up 8. Nate Biddle at the wing, off the rim, a putback reverse jam attempted from Jamari Phillips, rebounded from Solomon Washington in Maryland. Now getting it into the front court, Andre Mills dumps it off to Darius Adams. Adams moving, now finds Coit, Diggy Coit. Gets the screen from Solomon Washington. Coit has Nate Biddle on a mismatch, a step back 3 from Coit. Off the front rim, rebounded from KJ Evans. Maryland struggling now, just 5 minutes remaining in this one, and they're down 8.
Coit continues to find open shots and is doing a good job of spacing the floor, but he just has not been able to get really any big shots to fall so far tonight.
It was arguably his best look there as Wei Lin uses a little screen, has Biddle, and now again it's Jamari Phillips, this one way off. Rebounded from Andre Mills. Now Mills with his 5th rebound of tonight. Mills drives in, tries a contested shot, not gonna go. Solomon Washington fighting for every rebound possible, and he helps Mills secure it, swatted away from Biddle as he shows emotion. Wei Lin has it in the front court, crossing up to Kai Simpkins, drives in, gets the deuce. Oregon goes up double digits for the first time in this game.
Crowd desperately wanted a foul call there on Andre Mills. He gets up gingerly, but that was just really excellent defense by these Ducks and an excellent, just caught Maryland off guard in that transition period right there. Oregon now 12-2 run over almost 7 minutes, 7-0 run over the last 4. Maryland's defense continues to try and show up, but they just are not getting anything on offense. They're spacing the ball well, they're getting good shot attempts, but really just nothing is falling. And like we keep going back to, when you just don't have that presence inside that you're missing in Farrell Payne, the rebound battle still in favor of the Ducks, even though Maryland has put up a valiant effort. When you have the size Oregon does, and the threes are not falling like they did on Sunday against Old Dominion, it's not usually a good product, James.
No, and Maryland gonna have to show some resilience late in this game without their vet, Farrell Payne. So we'll see if Maryland can do that as Oregon goes up double digits. Back in just a moment. Momentum shifting back and forth from College Park as Oregon is up 10 now. And started to see some Maryland fans trickle out of the building. Andrew Breza, I'm James Consoli alongside Peter Kelly, our sideline reporter for tonight. And something that stands out on the stat sheet, Andrew, is that Oregon has 28 points in the paint to Maryland's 12. That's got to be a factor.
100% it is, and even trying to take Farrell Payne's absence out of the conversation, Drew Biddle and KJ Evans have just been dominant all across the floor. We talked earlier about how basketball in general, especially the current state of college basketball, has become a bit of a positionless sport, and those two have been the epitome of it tonight, but they're doing what they do best down low, getting boards, making tough baskets. Maryland just doesn't really have an answer, even from the efforts of Solomon Washington crashing the boards and getting paints down low. Maryland just really doesn't have a fair matchup down low to top those two.
Side out inbound from Isaiah Watts, who gets it off to Diggy Coit, and now Darius Adams. Isaiah Watts, wing three, a big one for Watts, cuts it back to single digits. Watts igniting the fire as the Terps have 3.5 minutes to get their first win in the Big Ten.
It's the kind of shot that gets a crowd back into a place, James. They got to capitalize off that.
Watts fired up, led this team in scoring in their last outing with 17. A good fight defensively from Maryland, able to strap up the big man, Nate Biddle, as Solomon Washington takes it inside. A Diggy Coit three coming out of the timeout. Coit hasn't been able to get it done. Darius Adams fighting for a second chance as now Maryland will keep this possession on offense.
It makes me want to go down to that Buzz Williams huddle from that last break, because once again, it's the Terps playing with incredible, incredible momentum. They've just come out, they made a big shot, they got a good stop on defense, and then just crashing the boards there. Really smart play from Darius Adams, who we have said has room to grow but continues to show mature traits.
Baseline inbound from Darius Adams, gets it to Solomon Washington. Now Adams has it back at the wing. He drives inside and he gets fouled. A reach-in called against Wei Lin of Oregon. So now you got that 7-point lead from the Ducks. And 3 minutes and 9 ticks left on this second half clock. When is it going to strike midnight for Maryland, looking to get their first Big Ten win of the season? Darius Adams very similarly, a baseline inbound, finds Diggy Coit in the corner. Coit gets a screen from Saunders and now has it up top at the logo. Guarded from Jamari Phillips. Coit gets a little separation, finds Solomon Washington, who battles inside, blocked away there from Nate Biddle. Oregon standing strong as Biddle, third place in the Big Ten in blocks, shows his importance there. Biddle now five blocks tonight for Biddle. Biddle has a wing three. Doesn't take it, tries to dump it off to Wei Lin. Stolen away from Isaiah Watts. Tips out of bounds off his fingertips. It'll stay Oregon's possession with 16 seconds left. This is the possession of the game, Andrew.
Absolutely, and going back to Nate Biddle, we've talked about how he impacts the floor from every position. You continue to say it, continue to see it even as the clock winds down.
KJ Evans and Wei Lin working together up top, outside the three-point line. He finds Biddle, who finds KJ Evans inside. Evans can't handle the rock, turned away. Maryland has it. Crosses into the front court. Darius Adams, some nifty dribbling. Adams looks to settle it down. Finds Saunders. Coit drives inside baseline. Back out Adams. Up top, Isaiah Watts, a pump fake, a three. Watts airballs, but gets a rebound is Solomon Washington. Gives them a fresh 11 seconds on this shot clock. Working inside is Darius Adams, who tries to kick it out, who will find Solomon Washington. Isaiah Watts, a back out, another three. Cannot get it as Maryland tonight struggling from the three-point mark shooting.
They continue to crash the boards well and find new opportunities, and it just feels like they're forcing some of these shots. Watts, good attempts, but just didn't feel like it was the right shot at that moment right there.
Now Oregon could call night-night on this possession. You could pretty much turn off the stream if they get a big one here. Finds inside is Nate Biddle, and he cannot be stopped. Biddle's got 14 points. So it's not over yet. A three probably would have sealed it there. Diggy Coit tries a shot from deep as Buzz Williams calls a timeout. Last time they came out of a timeout, Andrew, they were cooking straight off the bat. But now Buzz Williams says we might need a little bit more propane in this last minute and a half. As Maryland fans start to trickle out, we have a minute and 30 seconds left in this second half. Oregon up 9. We'll come back in just a second. Welcome back to College Park. A lot of Terps fans headed on the red eye out of here as Maryland is down 9 points with a minute and a half remaining. Inbounded here from Isaiah Watts, gets it off to Diggy Coit. Watts has it back in the corner now. At the wing is Adams. Adams, a bank, miss. Rebound, KJ Evans and Oregon. As it is foul territory time now. Maryland missed the last bucket there, and it's pretty much wrapped up now, Andrew.
Yeah, I mean, I just can't see really anything they can do at this point. Like, you had multiple chances in the second half where it felt like the momentum was back in favor of Maryland. Maryland started to capitalize, but then they went on a cold streak for shooting, and when that happens, there's just not a whole lot you can do.
At the line now is Takai Simpkins. Simpkins had his first game of the year with 10+ points and 0 turnovers last game. And tonight has 14 points, but 2 turnovers. So for Simpkins, another strong performance in the double digits. This one off the back iron for Simpkins. Rebounded for Maryland. They have a minute left to try and earn their first Big Ten win of the year as Diggy Coit shoots a 3 and gets fouled off it. Now, Andrew, if Coit hits that 3 and gets the line free throw, it's a little bit of a different game, but he has an opportunity to get 3 now.
Makes things very interesting if he did hit that, but still a smart play, no doubt about it, to be able to get those shots. Lynn didn't think he fouled him. He was like looking in exasperation at the ref and around his teammates, but sending Coit to the line, try and get some of those free points. Never know.
Andrew, the good thing about this for Maryland's case at least is that the clock doesn't tick when you're shooting free throws. So Coit earns 3 there. Now Maryland only down 7 with 1 minute and 5 remaining. So while we called it, as good as over earlier, still opportunity for Maryland, but some key things have to happen. You either need to get a steal off the inbound or you need to foul somebody who you know is going to miss the free throws. And Dana Altman of this Oregon squad is a veteran and knows who to put in when they need it. As Nate Biddle gets it now, and maybe you foul here. Maryland not fouling. Solomon Washington is going to get the foul there against Maryland, and after that, a timeout is called.
It's a big thing for Maryland at this point. You know, we talked about throughout the second half when Buzz Williams has called a timeout, they've come out looking a little stronger, but now with 1 minute left, Maryland has no timeouts. Oregon just used one of theirs. They still have 2 remaining though, so really an uphill battle no matter which way you put it here for the Terps. But you really never can say never in basketball. Just down 7 despite these shooting disparities. Terps still finding a way to stay in.
We'll call it possible but far-fetched for now. Oregon up 7 with 1 minute remaining in this second half. A lot of fans have emptied out from Xfinity, but that doesn't mean it's over. As now Solomon Washington, who has a double-double. Here's Washington's second double-double of the season, and also it's back-to-back for Washington, as he had 13 and 13 last game.
Something to watch, however, is that Solomon Washington 1 foul away from fouling out, so got to be careful with that.
Inbounded here, KJ Evans to Nate Biddle, and a foul called. Looks like it was against Miles Rice.
Maryland foul on Miles Rice.
As Biddle will head to the free throw line. Nate Biddle has an opportunity to become the outright leading scorer tonight, tied with Takai Simpkins at 14 points. Biddle so far, the last 3 games, he's averaging 24 points per game, 7 rebounds per game, 3 blocks per game on 50% three-point shooting. This guy is playing like the best center in the country at the moment. And perfect timing for his Duck squad as they enter Big Ten play. And he nets the first free throw to put this one at 8 points difference. Biddle's second. 16 for Biddle tonight. 7 rebounds and 5 blocks.
And it's things like that right there that just kind of make you think, yeah, I mean, travel called on Isaiah Watts when you're trying to get into a desperation attempt to make this more of a game. But some of these small attempts on both sides have made this a closer game than you would think. But that might just be the final blow for Maryland.
As we'll see 2 subs come in. Solomon Washington exits, and so does Diggy Coit as Miles Rice comes in, joined alongside George Turkson Jr. Waylon gets the inbound for his Oregon squad, gets fouled immediately, that one against Isaiah Watts. Oregon up 9, fans are finally shuffling out. Some Maryland faithful staying. 53 seconds left in this one as Buzz Williams, rapid fire subs. Yeah, honestly, for Maryland's backcourt, they should just treat it like it's hockey, and Buzz Williams can sub whenever, because right now, I think we've seen 10 subs in the last 2 minutes, and there goes George Turkson Jr.'s couple seconds.
Definitely not an ideal game for George Turkson, having just played 10 minutes, no points, only took 1 shot, which was a 3-point attempt. A guy who we've seen in some of these games has been a factor on the offensive board, getting a couple of clutch shots here and there. Still trying to find out what exactly his role can be for this Terps team.
Waylon nets both free throws there. As Maryland has it, need to get a quick bucket there, and Diggy Coit tries to step back off his back leg. This one a baseline inbound, and now a double-digit lead for the Ducks as Maryland is taken apart like a dropped puzzle.
George Turkson Jr. in for the Terrapins.
What was once working for the Terps, you know, early coming into this second half, Andrew, has fizzled away. As a timeout from Dana Altman, just telling his squad, hey, let's settle down. We have 46 seconds. Make the proper inbound pass and make the free throws, and let's wrap this one up. So, with all that said, 46.5 seconds left in the second half. Oregon en route to its first Big Ten win of the season, as Maryland will fall to 0-3 in conference play if they can't turn things around. We'll be back here in just a second on WMUC Radio. Bringing it back to you for 46.5 seconds from College Park, Maryland, as the Oregon Ducks are visiting from Eugene. One of these 2 squads will come home with their first Big Ten win of the season. As Waylon gets the inbound for the Ducks, and here's a slam from Takai Simpkins, brings it upstairs, and you can wrap that, put a bow on it, and call it a new year started off right, as the Ducks will get their first win in conference play of the season. A big response 3 from Isaiah Watts, though. Strong defense as now a dunk contest was trying to be put on from the Ducks. Des Lindsey goes up to try and throw down the tomahawk and swatted away and fouled by Miles Rice. 10-point lead now with 29 seconds left.
Might be a lost cause for the Terps, but you do like to see them continue to fight. Big 3 there from Isaiah Watts, and then getting back on defense. You see a little bit of this chippiness in these newfound conference rivals. It's the way to go. It's the way to end things, despite a disappointing loss.
And I think this one, Andrew, is really just 2 broken teams, and one of them bringing their injuries and their different setbacks back together. You know, bandaging them up, and now, you know, 2 guys that came back tonight for this Duck squad, whereas Maryland's still missing their Pharrell Payne. Has drived inside. Now Darius Adams has a wing three. That one's pretty much going to call it, as now Oregon may dribble out this clock. Still fighting is Miles Rice and Oregon, and Maryland, I mean, as Nate Biddle, who is leading this squad in points on the season. Biddle leads in points per game. Wei Lin holds the ball out and drills a deep three as the clock already had expired. Oregon, all green and yellow tonight. Eugene to College Park. The Ducks get the job done and get their first in-conference win of the season as Maryland goes to 0-3 in conference play. A double-digit win for the Ducks. They had their ducks in a row tonight. Andrew Breza, Peter Kelly, I'm James Consoli. Thank you for tuning in to WMUC Sports Radio. Maryland gonna have to get back on track after this one, Andrew.
No doubt about it. I mean, certainly, like we've said throughout the night, just a really disappointing outcome. I'm not one for moral victories, especially in what are pretty sloppy losses, but, you know, for as poor as the numbers showed the Terps were tonight, they did show fight. They did only lose by 10. I mean, you look at these shooting numbers, 28% from the field, 20% from three. Over half their shots were three-pointers. This offensive philosophy has completely changed with no Farrell Payne. It's a tough situation these Terps find themselves in, and it's hard to come back from that. You saw Oregon get some players back from injury tonight. You're hoping Farrell Payne can come back in the next few weeks, hopefully, to try and get the season back on track. But yeah, it's a sloppy performance overall from the Terps tonight. As for the Ducks, you know, they get the chance to go back home right after this to take on Rutgers. Or no, they'll actually be at Rutgers before they head back home. But we said earlier, I mean, man, what a showing from Nate Biddle, one of the best big men in the country. If I'm a college basketball fan, I've got January 17th circled on my calendar. That's Michigan at Oregon, Yaxel Landenborg versus Nate Biddle. That should be some really good basketball, some really great new rivals within this new expanded Big Ten conference. But yeah, James, as for Maryland, what else can you say? But they're doing their best to try and make things work in a really tough situation. We'll have to see if that'll translate going forward.
And as for the Terps, obviously headed into their next couple of matches, Maryland obviously opens up Big Ten conference play with this one. It's all Big Ten from here on out versus Indiana. Strong squad over there, and headed then next to UCLA and USC down in LA. So the Terps, obviously a lot of resiliency we're going to have to see from them. Without Farrell Payne, we'll see if they have the big men back. But until then, Maryland falls to 7-7 and 0-3 in the Big Ten as Oregon goes to 8-6 and now 1-2, getting their first win in the Big Ten and staying undefeated versus the Terrapins all time, 2-0. So all that said, we thank you for tuning in to WMUC Sports Radio. Have a good night from Xfinity Center.
We'll see you right